to Ghost Powered Entertainment. I'm your host, Kanan Becker, and today we do another deep dive into Hulu. And real quick before we get into this, if you could do me a favor, hit that like button because that really does help this channel out so much. So for those of you not familiar with this channel, once a week I go searching through the popular streaming platforms and come up with 10 horror movies to recommend to you guys. This week I went searching through Hulu and came up with 10 horror movies that I think you will enjoy. And with that, let's get to the list. So In the Earth is a film that I checked out earlier this year. I actually went and saw it in theaters and did do a full review if you want to check that out. But I really enjoyed it. It's a small indie movie, very small budget, small cast, pretty much just a couple people, like 4 people, I think total, maybe 5, just a very small cast. It is a slow burn, so it's not going to be for everyone. Some people will definitely be bored. But this movie's for people that enjoy A24 style indie movies where there's lots of dread and discomfort and you just feel uncomfortable the whole time. That's this type of movie.
You're worried she's going to get you?
Yeah, who is it?
It's a local folk tale. She's the spirit of the woods.
It's basically about these 2 scientists that go out into this forest to do some research, right? And weird things start to happen. One of them gets injured and it's very gruesome, very body horror moment that made me go, whoa! But it's really well done, and slowly they find themselves in this very strange scenario, basically caught between these 2 other people that have an agenda. And that's about all I can say without giving anything away. But it does have a really interesting ending. I think a very satisfying ending. Just a cool movie that'll leave you thinking afterwards, like a mind fuck.
I saw something in the woods.
It wants to talk.
So I think if you're into slow burn mind benders, this is a great one to check out.
Seems bodies follow you wherever you go.
Mom, you think I'd ever hurt you?
Not on purpose.
So Blood Moon is a very small Hulu original movie that I've heard no one talk about. I came across it, I figured, hey, what the hell, I'll check it out. And it happens to be a werewolf movie. And I love werewolf movies, even small ones. And this isn't a big special effects, crazy type of werewolf movie. It's much more of a slow burn type of situation, but it does have some creepy werewolf moments that will get your werewolf juices flowing or whatever.
In you go.
Mom, love you.
I'll see you in the morning.
It's just a really well done, small, little entertaining movie that I think you should definitely check out. So I finally watched Censor. It was out a while ago. I tried to go see it while it was in theaters, but it was only playing in select theaters, and I wasn't able to track down a theater near me to see it, and I finally was able to watch it when it hit Hulu. And it's actually the movie that made me decide to make this list, because it's a really interesting movie that had a buzz going in the UK, because it is a UK movie, and I really wanted to check it out, and I'm glad that I did. It's a very slow movie, especially for probably the first 2 acts. It's pretty damn slow. It slowly builds the scenario and situation. It's about this woman who works for the Censor program in the UK doing the video nasty kind of thing back in the 1980s. And it does a really good job of setting that scenario up and feeling very believable. And it goes a little bit into the video nasty stuff, which I found very interesting as well, and just their whole agenda and the way they looked at it. But your main focus is this woman who uncovers this strange thing while watching this movie, and she starts to kind of go down this rabbit hole.
There's this actress. I've got this feeling that's Nina, my sister.
Gets into the seedy underbelly, basically, of these video nasty movies that are being made. And just some really interesting stuff starts to unfold. And especially in the final act, it really ramps things up. And I think it had a really satisfying ending. And it definitely has some gore, surprisingly, in this movie. It's just, in general, a solid movie that I think you should check out.
Oh, that was awesome.
Oh, I feel like Tom Cruise.
So Love and Monsters is a film that I saw early this year or late last year, I can't remember, but actually was able to go see it in theaters. And I didn't think anything of this. I didn't know much of anything about it other than the name and that it was a new movie that was in a tiny little theater near me, and I was down because I hadn't seen a movie in theaters in months and months and months. And I was so surprised on how much I actually enjoyed this movie, especially for as little as I had heard about it. I mean, literally, I heard nobody talk about this movie. And is it horror? No, not really, but it has definitely got some creatures and a creature feature feel about it. Mostly it's a fun little adventure that has some romance, a lot of exciting into the world kind of scenarios with these monsters.
Where have you been, Joel?
Amy, I love you. I'm gonna come find you.
The day of the monster uprising was the day I lost everyone.
It's just a fun ride kind of movie that if you're looking to be entertained and you want something that's got action and monsters and just a lot of fun little stuff, this is definitely one to check out.
And that is your god.
She was here long before the apes started dreaming of gods.
So Gaia is a movie I saw earlier this year in theaters, and I love this movie. It is one of my favorites of the year, but it's not going to be for everyone because it is a very much a slow burn, but it does have some body horror stuff that does start to really ramp up about halfway through this movie, and it definitely has some discomfort. You know, you're not going to be comfortable, and a lot of the stuff in this movie just goes in some places that I had a great time with. The basic premise of it is there's this park ranger who is out in the middle of nowhere in the wilderness jungle type of scenario. She gets injured and comes across these people, this man and his son, who are living off the grid, living in this jungle, and they take her in and nurse her back to health. And as she's living with them, things start to be different than she thinks. There's some weird stuff going on, and I don't want to talk too much more about it, but it gets very body horror, very interesting with some really weird stuff going on that she uncovers.
She lives in the forest.
Who?
God.
This is a movie that's kind of for people that enjoy the mind-bending, weird scenario, uncomfortable, body horror, mindfuck type of stuff. And that's not for everyone, but people that are into that, if you're into like me, I think this is definitely a great one to check out. So The Fly is David Cronenberg's Mona Lisa, man. It's his fucking masterpiece. I love this movie. I'm assuming just about every horror fan has, or sci-fi fan has seen this movie, but if for some reason you're young in horror and sci-fi and you have not seen The Fly, this is a foundation piece. This is a piece that you must watch. I think it really shows you, especially when it comes to body horror practically done, it shows you that at its very best. To me, it's right up there with The Thing as far as body horror done practically. That's just amazing. This movie is so well done. It's basically about this scientist who finds a way to do transportation, and things go crazy.
Something went wrong, Seth. When you went through, something went wrong.
Scenario unfolds where he gets split with a fly, and it isn't like the original 1950s one that goes in a weird, not so disturbing situation. This one goes straight disturbing as fuck and uncomfortable as hell.
You're changing, Seth. Everything about you is changing.
Oh no, what's happening to me? Am I dying?
It's just a fantastic, amazing movie that if it's been a while since you've seen it, you should watch it. And like I said, if you're new to the horror game, you definitely need to check this one out.
The magic will find another broken person. It will never behind you.
So The Vigil is a movie I've been talking about and I did a full review on. I love this movie. It's a small ghost story, haunted house type of situation movie, but it feels different because it takes it from a different vantage point than what I'm used to seeing in horror movies. It's basically about this guy who is hired to sit with a dead body, someone that just died in the Jewish religion. It's part of their beliefs that you must sit with a body for a certain amount of time after they die. And since this person had no family or whatever, they hire this guy to do it. And he's Jewish, but he's kind of like not really a practicing Jew anymore. And so he believes this stuff, but not totally. Anyway, weird stuff starts to happen. Ghosty, spooky, creepy stuff.
There is something very, very wrong here. We have to go now.
It's just a really enjoyable, small little indie horror movie that not enough people are talking about, and I think you should definitely check it out. So Sputnik is a movie that came out, I think, last year, but I didn't discover it until just a few months back. And I was so impressed with this movie. It's such a solid little sci-fi horror movie. It's a Russian movie, so you're gonna have to read subtitles, but in my opinion, it's well worth it because it's one of the best sci-fi horror alien type of movies I've seen in a very long time. It's just acted really well, looks really good. There's an alien scenario that unfolds with this scientist who goes to the Russian version of NASA and is working with these cosmonauts who supposedly one of them basically brings back some type of alien thing.
Ваша консультация. Зачем вы мне здесь сможете объяснить?
And it takes a little bit to really kind of find out what the deal is and what's going on, but when it gets there, it is so worth the wait because the creature design, all that stuff is very enjoyable in this movie. It's a really solid flick and one that if you're a fan of horror and sci-fi, I think it's a must to check out.
That small thought, it's all it takes to lose control.
So Possessor is a fantastic movie. It's one of my top movies from last year, and I've talked about it a few times on this channel, but in my opinion, I can't talk about it enough because to me, it's a modern day classic. This movie is so well done. It's done by the son of David Cronenberg, Brandon Cronenberg. So it's like you have The Fly, which is the masterpiece by David Cronenberg, and then you have The Possessor, which is like an early beginning movie for Brandon Cronenberg. But he is already at an amazing level with this movie. It's gory, it's fucked up, it's twisted in so many ways.
I'm in place.
Can we help you?
Finish this.
It's just an enjoyable movie, yeah, really fucked up movie. And if you have yet to see it, I think it's a must.
Want to snag a wolf? You gotta outwolf him.
So Hunter x Hunter is a movie that came out late last year, early this year, and I streamed it way back in the beginning of this year and did do a review on it if you want to check that out. But this is another small indie level type of movie that is really well done and really enjoyable in my opinion. It's got a lot of dread. It is not one that's a fun ride. It's a very disturbing, uncomfortable ride. But if you're in for that, a slow burn, disturbing kind of thing, then this is definitely a movie, if you have yet to see, that you should check out. But it's basically about this family, this man, his wife, and their kid that live off the grid, and they have a pretty cool little life living off the grid, and it gives you a nice chance to know these people and see the scenario they're in, and then some fucked up stuff starts to happen.
This isn't a normal wolf.
It's just a hungry wolf looking for an easy meal. I will catch it.
And a scenario unfolds where you're not sure if there's a werewolf or not, and the whole movie leaves you guessing until the very end. And I'm telling you, you gotta be ready because the final 10 minutes of this movie are absolutely fucked up and will stick with you for quite a while because it's gory, graphic, disturbing, all the things. One that definitely sticks in your brain is like one of those you can't unsee moments. For people that are into that kind of stuff, this is definitely a must-see. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me today. Please leave your comments down below. Let me know if you've seen any of these or if you plan to watch them. Also, if there's a movie on Hulu I missed and I should check out, let me know because I really appreciate all the recommendations. Also, if you could do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and ding that little bell because that is the best way to keep track of this channel. And when I post videos like this, and I post videos like this at least 2 times every week, I also want to give a massive, huge thank you to my patrons because you guys, yeah, you Your support seriously means so much to me. And if you would like to find out more about becoming a patron, the link is down in the description. And like always, thank you so much for watching. Please crush that like button. And remember guys, horror can be fun. I will see you guys next time.